What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from Pink Tourmaline. All right, hold on one second. Just making sure. All right, people are making their way in. I'm just making sure we are live here. Give me 1 second. Yep, we are live. All right, legendary. Okay, welcome everybody. Sorry that today is at a weird time. I'm gonna explain everything. I'm gonna explain why I had to do this in a moment. Truth is Out There was here early. He says, hello, I'm here already. I saw your comment as I was getting set up. Great interview and great questions. Thank you. I had one weird person in the comments that left me like this crazy long, really whiny comment. I wonder if that person will show up in the live stream. But for the most part, people were appreciative of the interview and the questions and everything. So I really appreciate that, guys. I worked really hard. I'm going to tell you the whole backstory of how it came together as well today. What's up? Robert Brown? Welcome back. Wild Child of Nature. So glad I caught this live. I have a question for Darius. As a woman, I feel things too deeply, and that highly overwhelms me. I go in the two opposites of joys and energy to depression and sadness. Why? Oh, so that's a question for Darius. I don't know when I'll be talking to him again, and so I'm not sure. You might want to try and reach out and maybe message him via social media or something and ask him. I don't have an answer for that, but one thing I can say that maybe is similar between you and me is it sounds like if you feel things I don't know if you're talking about just events or you're talking about other people's emotions or pain, because if you're saying the latter, then you're probably like me, you're an empath. The only thing I would say is what I've done in my life. I'm not saying this is the solution by any means, or for everybody, or even the right way to go about things, but I do try and shield myself a bit from, I guess you could say, negative people that just focus on negative stuff or bring up things that really you can't necessarily fix or do anything productive about, but just make you feel bad, and then you're just kind of stuck with it. And what I have done in my life is, again, some people might argue this is a coping mechanism and I shouldn't be doing this. I should be facing more things. I don't know the answer. It works for me and I live a really happy life. But in my business, I've cultivated my business in a way where I have really amazing clients and people around me all the time that I enjoy working with and being around. I work on things that I like, stuff like that. And then I tune out things that basically I feel are a combination of not productive and unpleasant. Christian Consciousness Academy says, how are you? The Darius interview is great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I responded to your comments, by the way. I had a lot of questions after watching the interview. Yeah, tell me. Truth is out there. Viv, what's going on? Hi, Uzefa. That mic looks huge. Yeah. Well, it's a little bit of an optical illusion just because like where it is. I have to sit in the bed when I do these when I'm on the road because the chairs in these hotels are always so bad, and then my back hurts after like 20 minutes. Izzy is in the house. Good evening. For me, it's evening at this time. Everyone, I'm happy to be here for the live. Let's go. Yeah, actually, the different time might make it easier for more people to join. Okay, let me tell you guys a little bit about the backstory of the whole Darius interview now that I have everybody here. I think I explained a little bit on Tuesday, but the way it came about, and if you guys missed it, was they actually reached out to me, which was amazing. I think because I just made a video about Darius in one of his recent interviews, and I think somebody sent it to him. I don't know exactly what happened, but somebody on his team or whatever sent it to him and said, hey, you should sit down with this guy for whatever reason. And it was cool because in that video, I was being a little bit critical, not crazy critical, obviously, but I was questioning things. I was like, I wonder if this is the case. Why is he answering this like that? Man, I wish I could have a conversation with him myself because I want to ask him questions and this and that. So they saw that and they reached out to me. So I do want to give Darius a lot of credit. And I actually thought we had a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. But I do want to give him credit for them proactively reaching out to me and having the interview. Anyways, so they reached out. We went back and forth on a couple of potential. They said, send me some days and times. I did. He didn't respond for like 2 or 3 days. And then I thought maybe it wasn't going to happen or something. I don't know. I was just going with the flow. And then I got a response back and he said the only time he could do it was the time that we did it yesterday. Now, the problem was that I was flying to Montana that morning and the hotels, especially in the city that I'm in, is really small. So the hotels' Wi-Fi's are so hit or miss. and I needed it to really go well, right? Obviously, like, I didn't know if I'd be able to get him back. He said he's super busy, wouldn't be able to do it again until like July. So I found this amazing rental place, this office space that I was able to rent out for 4 hours. I got there early. I set up everything, checked the Wi-Fi. It was great, and I did it in there. The one thing is that the room that they gave me to do the interview was really echoey, so I had to put effects, kind of like an overlay effect on the whole recording to reduce some of the echoes and stuff. And I don't know if you could hear, the audio was a little glitchy in the final version, which I was so mad about, but I think it wasn't that big of a deal. Anyways, that was the story. I was so tired. I was on 3 hours of sleep, and I just flown that day. It was just a mess, but I made it through, and I feel like we had a good conversation regardless. Okay, Darius was scared, it seemed, in the beginning. You think he was scared? No, I don't think he was scared. He didn't know that much about me. That's what he told me. He's like, "Hey, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Because I don't know who you are exactly." He just said they would just want me to do more content or more interviews, something like that. I don't know. So I don't know if that's it. Maybe you picked up on it. I didn't notice that. Divided on the interview was great, but still lots of I'm sure, and I still had questions. Listen, I had questions on my sheet that I didn't get to ask. People said, "Hey, I wanted you to ask about base reality." You know, he did use that word in the interview, but obviously in a totally different context. But the thing is, I think he would have, again, it wouldn't fit with what he's seen, because here's what it is, and here's what I've come to understand about Darius. And I'm really glad I had that talk with him and got to meet him face to, like, whatever, virtually face to face, because I have a much better understanding of where he's coming from. A lot of what he thinks about the nature of reality and this existence, it's all coming from personal experience, for better or for worse, okay? As opposed to, I'm not even able to have those experiences yet. I'm still trying. What are my experiences? Where is everything coming from me? It's coming from books. It's coming from other people's accounts, coming from studying, basically. And there's pros and cons to both. But the reason why I mention that is, if I would have asked about base reality or some of these other concepts, I noticed that when I did bring up things that having to do with the soul trap or these other ideas that we discuss on this channel, he basically was just like, "Look, that's not what I've seen." And then it's kind of the end to it. Like, there's nowhere really to go. There's nowhere really to go in that situation, because at least as of now, his worldview or his existence view is pretty much is influenced by his direct experience. So that's kind of the limiting factor, I think, in some of into how deep we can go into the questions or the back and forth about some of these different ideas. I think a lot of the soul trap ideas are things that he's heard of. He's maybe heard in conversation, and maybe has done some light study. But that's my take, anyways. I could be wrong. That could be not totally the case, but that's my feeling. Okay. Nico says, "I do not trust Darius. I do not think he's evil. I think he's manipulated by entities to lead us on a wrong path." Notice how he talks. So this is what I asked him. I literally asked him that point blank, because I do wonder the same thing. I said, "Hey, do you ever wonder if the being Celeste maybe is leading you astray?" You know, and I don't know. I don't know the answer. You know, if indeed what he is saying, let's say, is factually not true or something along those lines, then that could be the case. And that's why I asked. I just want, and again, it's not as though I think he's going to be like, "You know what? I think you're right. She is manipulating me." Like, I didn't think he was going to say that, but I wanted to pose the question more as a thought exercise, because it's something that I think we've thought about, who've listened to Darius and who've wondered, like, why is his narrative not meshing with what other people have said, remote viewers and otherwise? You know, and that's the biggest issue for us, is we're trying to get all the pieces to fit together, and right now they don't. That's the difficulty. Darius used a lot of word salad. I thought, okay, maybe it was different for me because I was conducting the interview, but I thought it was a lot less than I've seen in. I thought it was a lot less. Maybe I'm being, and I listened to it again all the way through last night. I don't know, but did you think it was more or less or the same, Robert? I was wondering if you reached out. I'm happy they did, but I didn't feel satisfied. You didn't feel. If I did another one, Izzy, tell me, list out like 5 things that you'd want me to hit, because I wouldn't be surprised if we do another one I think we both enjoyed it, and yeah, I'd be down to go deeper, and maybe I could even send them the stuff ahead of time of what I'd like to get into with them more. You know what I mean? If there's specific things. I honestly listened to the interview trying to just be neutral and hear what he was saying. However, I found his voice was lulling me into a slightly sedated feeling. Really? Oh, that's crazy. I'm still thinking about him saying he doesn't know about Monroe. Yeah, I think I saw you put that in the comments and how he was considered the hemisync to be distractions. I don't know. Wait, did he say that they were distractions? Or I think he said you could do it without it, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think he said that the beats get your brains to be emitting the correct waves or something like that. So I don't know if he said distractions. I have to go back and listen. Numa Ethos. I'm only halfway through, but I'm absolutely thank you so much. He was not scared. Yeah, that's I didn't sense any fear. He seemed kind of there and to go with the flow, and I thought it was good. Darius did a lot of double speak in the interview. Did he really? Love is the key in a world that you in from that respect. That's one of the things that I did I did try and bring up because I think his because I said, man, there's all this stuff and almost the way the world is set up and programmed and designed, and our DNA is structured in the way that we have to kill and consume and all this stuff. How can the two ever mesh together? He had some answers in terms of the notion of people not even having to potentially eat. I know those are rare cases. I think maybe his greater insinuation was that one day we could transform into those types of entities where we don't need to destroy or something, and then we could come into I don't know exactly. You know what I should have asked too, which would have been a really good question, is he said we could have heaven on earth. Like, what is heaven on earth? What does that look like? You know what I mean? Because it almost feels as though that's a oxymoron. Like, you can't have heaven on earth because it's incompatible with whatever the ideas of but what is heaven really? You know what I mean? I think he would probably say where you just do your authentic self and you just do whatever you want with no judgment or something along those lines. That's just a guess though. Robert, yes. He has guides and seems to excuse evil. He made a point to say he was not excusing evil, I think. He said something like you'll have to still pay for the consequences. And he said the greatest consequence would be you sitting with those deeds yourself, which maybe feels to a lot of people as not enough. But again, I don't know how the balancing of all things works. Is there true? I used to one time when I was in the love and light phase, I used to think everything balanced out with subsequent lives. Okay, you did this in that life, where now you're going to come back in this position, and you're going to have to pay for it this way. So it's like a whole system where you're kind of constantly trying to balance yourself out. But then obviously now I feel as though that could be a manipulation. So I'm not sure. I don't know. His words seemed like he was being authentic, but something about his energy was. I felt that too. I felt he was being authentic. Now, whether or not, look, we have theories and theses about people from NDEs or different content points, channelers and whatnot, that they're authentically relaying the information, but they could be subjected to manipulation and without knowing, without obviously, right? So then they're still communicating in their mind a pure and true message. However, that could have been hijacked at some point. So these are all things that could be also, any of us could fall victim to. The other thing is, if you are think about it from this vantage point, if you are the manipulator entity out there, an archon, whatever it may be, it's probably so much more of an effective strategy to, instead of being like, hey man, here's the truth, but you're going to go lie about it. Just go make up all this stuff. That's hard when you're as the conveyor of the information know that you're lying, to pull it off, because people are going to pick up on that. But the key is you convince that person that what they're telling is the truth. I'm not saying this is 100% what's happening. I'm just giving you an example. You convince that person that what they're saying is the truth, and then it feels much more credible as they're doling out this information. It's probably why compartmentalization exists in the government, and why people are given partial narrative. So when they go and say it, it's not in the back of their mind, okay, I know this is not true. I know we've had contact with ETs, but I'm just making it up. No, from what they're told, they really believe it. So they're not out there trying to overtly lie. The lie is coming from up top, but to them, they're telling the truth, and it makes it easier for people to believe, because we have lie detectors inside of us. However, I did appreciate him emphasizing the no fear strategy. Yes, I agree. But you can't see the soul trick and not be consumed by fear. That's what I'm striving for. If I start to feel fear, try to move to neutral. Fair enough. I do understand his perspective and his unique experiences, but after listening to so many people about the soul trick trap, I feel that we can't express. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, see, the problem right now, I think we just have more digging to do. We have more work to do in terms of, because I think from Darius's vantage point, all the negative entities are our own sort of like thoughts gone crazy, an egregore, an aggregation of these negative thoughts that are running wild. Whereas I think us in the soul trick, soul trap community, currently we think, no, it's actual like negative entities infiltrating and trying to attack us that maybe have their own unique identity. And so, yeah, it's just, you know what I mean? That's why I think with Darius's narrative, he's just saying, well, if you just express love, it would kind of evaporate a lot of these negative entities. Is that true? Is that not? We're still figuring out, but I think most of us right now in this community maybe don't think that's the nature of reality. Dreaming Paradise. Am I the only one who thought Darius was great? He could have been more focused, but he seemed genuine to me. I'm with you. I thought it was great. Listen, this is what I'm saying. He is coming from his vantage point, from his experiences. That's what I got to realize. It's not as though he's not even really trying to necessarily attack our viewpoint or the information that we're using or that we're researching per se. He's kind of dismissing it basically because he hasn't seen it himself. And so that's where he's coming from is, hey, this is what I've seen and I trust what I see. And so it doesn't have to be right. Look, I'm trying my hardest here. You know what I mean? In terms of trying to get to the truth, but I still may be wrong. And that's the case with him. That's the case with anybody. And so, yeah, I mean, like that's kind of what I felt again, which is why I'm so glad I got to have the conversation. Not all of them are benevolent, especially with all of the trickery going on. Yeah, true. I mean, I'm with you on that. Please interview him again. I'd like to hear him talk about okay, what I'll do is I'm going to put up, if he does want to come back on, which I bet he would, maybe at some point later in the summer, especially after I go to Monroe, maybe he'd be curious to chat with me about that as well. I'll allow you guys to enter kind of like I did before the Intuitive Underground video, just a big post where you can put all your questions in, excuse me, and we can, I can boil it down and do it that way. Darius is real. All he says is very, very real, and it is love. Ire says, one simple question could dismantle his viewpoint. If souls come here to remember our divine self, why is our memory wiped? So we didn't get into the memory wipe, but he has talked about it in another interview. And again, I'm not saying this, to me, it does feel manipulative. It feels manipulative. It feels like it can keep you stuck in a loop in Groundhog's Day. If your memory is getting wiped, that's the key essential piece to learning. So I'm with you. But in his words, I think something that he said that alludes to this is we forget so we can remember, as if remembering ourselves is part of the growth process. I think that's what he would say. I'm not saying I agree with that. Once again, it feels too perfect of a mechanism by which to keep people stuck. You keep wiping their memory, they're going to keep making the same mistakes. Very convenient. You did a great job of interviewing him. Thank you. Hey there. I really appreciate it. As for Celeste, I'm also still thinking about the part where he's telling a story about how he forced his way and was ready to end all, get the answers either way. Yes, I remember that. And Celeste could very much, yeah, I know. I mean, I asked him that. It's a possibility. That's why I asked, because it is a possibility. About the same word salad, he never gets to the point he has to make a big story out of your question, and then you get lost. I think me personally, I felt he did that less in our interview. Sometimes it did take him a while to get to the answer. Like somebody commented that the first question he responded to was a word salad. in the comments, that crazy person who was all angry. But in fact, that was actually, I thought, one of his clearest answers, because he just took his time explaining the difference between OBEs, NDEs. Well, actually, maybe not NDEs, OBEs, astral projection, and remote viewing. It just took him a while to get to it, but I didn't think it was that bad. What's up, Paul? Yeah, I see that you love Darius. Celeste sounds like an AI. I mean, again, we don't know. Or an Archon or something like that. We don't know. You know. Please ask him to define what love is. Wait, didn't I ask him? What did I had that on my list. Wait a minute. I said, no, I think I maybe said, it may be in there. I think it may be in there, but if it's not, at a minimum, I remember I asked him about daily practices to getting closer to love. Love is all, yes. The thing that throws me off about him is how emotionless he is. I don't think I've ever seen the guy smile, which is strange. I have seen him smile in some interviews, but yeah, it's rare. Again, though, but that's more, that could be his personality. I get the feeling that he's really, really introverted. I didn't ask him. I should have asked him. That's the feeling that I get. Like these interviews or public appearances may exhaust him. For me, for example, I get on here and I interact with everybody. I'm like, woo! It's like it's like an upper or something, so everybody's different. Thanks for this interview. I can appreciate him making the distinction between OBE and remote viewing. Yeah, I feel like you won't get the full perspective into. Yeah, I know, and I'm trying. Darius is pure love. If those who did stay with themselves to pay or change Darius claims, but they are still evil, physical world and evil entities on the other side. Why are there still evil people? There are people who did evil, stay with themselves to pay or change, as Darius claims. Why are there still evil people in the physical world and evil entities on the other side? Great. I mean, it's a good question. I don't know. Nico, I think that heaven on earth is what Demiurge will offer us to keep. Right. I know it could be like a manipulation, because Howdy McCoskey kind of talks about this and saying trying to fix the world or trying to have a utopia here is part of the trap, because it's a puzzle that's impossible to solve. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that idea trips me out a little bit. Facts. He did say if you're all about love with no fear, no entity can touch you. Yes, I'm leaning towards Celeste being an Archon. Hey, all, how's everybody? What's up, Revered? Have Mark Forever Conscious Research on here. That would be interesting. Okay, it's on the list. Was waiting for something that would talk about what he saw from all the OBs. He said since he's a pro at it, at least something about the soul trap. Well, no, I mean, I think, but I asked him about it and he pretty much dismisses it, so I'm assuming he hasn't seen anything about it. A negative entity is the energy that is charged in your spirit, released after you die. Negatively charged energy has density and weight. Not to knock anyone's journey and experience, but I don't feel like remote viewing has the same level. I mean, that's what Darius said. I don't know, but then again, remote viewing is done in teams, and I like the collaborative aspect of it, where they can verify and cross-reference their findings. It's probably more difficult, I would assume, to manipulate 5 people than 1, 10 people than 5, and so on and so forth. So I think there's also benefits to remote viewing as well. But that is kind of what Darius said. I just don't know if it's true. We could ask. I'd love to get Intuitive Underground back on at some point to answer that. Psyops are mixed into the research. Talking heads have been added. You must rely on your own experience. Take your word for it. Matrix is designed to dig holes. I trust you're also good. That's why they say you should not die with unfinished business regrets, because it is energy in your body, electrically positively charged. Yeah, could be very well. They talk about that in the Tibetan Book of the Dead as well. By the way, if you guys could like the stream as well, we got 90 people in here. Let's go. But if you guys could give some likes, that helps push the content and push the channel to more people that are yearning for this type of information. So running up the likes would help a lot. Thank you so much. I'm doing okay, Izzy. He claims that RV isn't doesn't claim that it's not legit. He just says it's not as, you're not going to get as good information, because in his words, he said you're like 30% outside of your body, versus the OBE, the way that he teaches it, you're 100% out, or effectively. So exactly what I've been thinking, always talking about love, and yet he's never given the vibes or smile. I mean, again, that's more everybody's that part. I think you have to give some grace, because everybody's different. We have just different types of personalities. You really have to rely on your own personal harmonic meter to decipher other people's experiences when the ego appears. Sure. Yo, traces of truth in the house. Idea that negative entities or thought forms is one disinformation that entities use him to spread. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I died at the age of 4, high voltage. Whoa, your spirit left? Actually, the idea that entities or thought form is really interesting. KK Loco says, I appreciate Darius interviewing with you. However, the interview proved without a doubt this information comes from third parties. I also do not buy his explanation for our memory wipes between lives. Fair. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm in agreement with that either. He feels fake, really. Okay. Ether. How is he fake? Sherry Cake asked. When I died and came back, I was still fully conscious and aware of what was around me before I got back in my body. Interesting. Prove me wrong. Robert Brown. So what he's saying is that Ego Swan and Robert Monroe's. Yeah, I mean, so to be honest, I don't think he knows too much about Ingo Swann and Robert Monroe. That's the feeling that I got, is that he hasn't dove in and researched the topic like crazy. Because I said this before, I'll say it again. I think for him, this is more about what am I seeing in my journeys, and that's what I'm relying on, 100%. Ask him why we should love evil. I have an astral projection outside of my body. Oh, cool. That's cool. Love and evil don't party together. Yeah, true. You're literally leaving your body behind, traveling without. That's what it is. Oh my God, so many comments. I'm trying to read them all. Hold on. Absolutely love. Oh, yin and yang. Well, that's kind of true, actually. Love and peace, brothers. That's human nature. How's he been in this community not knowing about Monroe? He knows about Monroe, but isn't like super familiar. I agree with Howdy. Oil and water don't mix. Love brings attachment, keeps us in the never-ending cycles. I think they fight together like cat and dog. Why did Celeste choose to show up naked at their first encounter? I'm not sure. I didn't know that, actually. Was she naked? Darius used to have a YouTube channel centered around health and fitness. Oh, I didn't know that. Basically, we're all lost and have no idea what is going on. Watch mind shift. Brandon, you can apply his thinking style to any religion or spiritual teaching. Bro, you're so authentic. Thank you. I'm wondering if remote viewing is seeing possibilities, different similarities, so it's not set in stone. That is true. I think you are seeing different timelines. I like this theme. Remote viewing is very vague, and people should be careful about what they believe. It's like everybody today is a medium and psychic. Derek Gowers on Amazon. Did you get a good feeling from Derek? I actually did. I'll put, like, I didn't think that I didn't get the vibe that he was coming across deceptive. You know what I'm saying? I got the vibe. Again, it doesn't mean that everything. It's the same with everybody with Intuitive Underground. They'll admit this. I felt Intuitive Underground was very authentic as well. It doesn't mean that the information that they're giving or I'm giving or anybody giving means it's infallible. But yes, I did actually get a good feeling from him. I think OBE and astral projection is virtual reality. That matrix serves you to manipulate you. And again, remember, sometimes, like, I think a lot of us in this community, we're so past the ideas of mainstream Christianity as even, giving any credibility to it, probably because everybody here on this chat has researched this stuff so much, and it just feels a little silly in light of all the information that has come out subsequently. And it feels a little closed-minded. That being so, you might look at a person that's dyed-in-the-wool Christian trying to preach it and say, you guys are wrong, and like, this is why it's so good. And you're like, dude, you're just lying, dude. But in their mind, number one, they have an attachment to it, so they're feeling an emotional tug to defend it. And number two, if they haven't researched really outside of Christianity, what they're saying is going to sound maybe to some extent from an information standpoint disingenuous. Like, dude, what are you talking about? Have you not looked into other things and not realized that this just narrative doesn't make any sense? But they actually are not intentionally blocking that stuff out and trying to deceive and trying to lie. They're just like, well, this is what I've always been told. This is what I'm relying on. And I can give you information that can convince you. In their mind, they think they can give you information that can convince you, but they're only extracting from this little box that they've been only allowed to look at. So my point is, is sometimes we might look at somebody who's giving their perspective, also dismissing other perspectives. And because they're doing it within this little box, it feels like they're being disingenuous or deceptive, but they just don't, they're not necessarily. They may be trying to authentically, you know, convey what they think is the truth. Ooh, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Let's go. I've had 2 experiences. 11 came out of my body. Second projection. One thing I know, we do not die. Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. I made that realization a long time ago. A lot of OBE and astral travel is influenced by the mind and imaginations of the viewer, so it's not a reliable source. RV done blind with multiple people fetches more accurate information. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. And that could be the case. You know, you may not be fully out, but when you have, but there's different ways that would make it a better form. Again, this is just Darius's perspective. This is what he thinks. Maya Zahira knows a lot about false light beginning because she had a direct experience with them. I think it's normal without your body. I remember reading. Oh, cool. I got to read that. Some people are not the original soul that incarnated. They have walk-ins. Yeah, I've heard about that from. Oh, guys, you guys want to know who I'm interviewing next? I forgot. I was going to tell you guys. Okay, let's see if anybody can guess. Hold on. I'm going to go down to the end here. Can anybody guess who I am interviewing next? Coley Water says, thank you for answering. It's somebody that I made a video about. A really interesting video. Nah, I wish it was Howdy. I'm not done with Howdy's second book yet. So I'm going to reach out to him once I finish the second book. It's somebody that I made a video about in the last week or week and a half. No, I think in the last week. Yeah, last week and a half, let's say. Jason Giorgiani, I wish. No, not April. I haven't made a video about April in a long time. Yes, yes. Viv is right. Viv is right. The lady NDE, Rachel Corpus. Yeah, I reached out to her. She said she's down. I'm waiting for her. Hold on, let me see if she sent me the link. I'm waiting for her to send me her calendar link, and then we're going to get it. So if you guys don't remember this woman that I'm going to be interviewing, she had a crazy NDE where she saw base reality. She saw her own self in a pod submerged in liquid, projecting her consciousness out. So crazy. Yeah, we should. Yeah, I'm with you. Don't look for people to follow. I mean, but at the end of the day, like, yes and no. I mean, but at the same time, we have to go to some people. I mean, what else am I going to do if I don't listen to Jason Giorgiani, if I don't listen to Tony Sayers, if I don't listen to Heidi Mikowski, right? I think what you're saying is don't be just like, okay, this person is always going to be correct, and I put complete trust and faith in them. You know what I mean? I think that's what you mean, I assume. Just completely wait. Did I miss your comment? Hold on. I'll get it. Sorry, dude. I had to jump over a bunch of comments. 1 second. I'm trying my best. My voice is hurting too. There's too many. Hold on. DJ. 1 second. Let me find it. Where was your comment? Oh my God. There's so many. Hold on. Found it. I don't think Darius can truly address the reality of this life. The way we have to consume other life, the fact out of body deteriorates, or in fact, our bodies deteriorate and we get cancer, heart disease. Yeah. Well, I agree with you. However, I think what he's trying, what his response would be, if I had to guess, is that once we can get rid of all the evil and the negativity, we would get to a point where those things would evaporate, I guess. That's my assumption. That's what I think he would say. But I don't know. I tend to believe that it's not about making this existence perfected or having heaven on earth per se, because I think the way that it's designed or the way that the construct is set up makes it almost not possible. So it's more about where do we go after this? You know, I've heard of this. It's called a fruitarian. I think some people do it. I don't know. I've never tried it, but he also said if you don't go into the light, you're dark. Yeah, I remember he said that about Satan. Because again, I remember the thing that I first said in response to that was I was like, well, no, you don't. It's not that you have to like you don't necessarily like, yeah, fine. What if you don't trust other entities? Trust yourself. That's what you should trust. He's like, what if you don't trust these people? Then you don't trust these people. You're kind of stuck. I'm like, you're not stuck. You can always look within. I did say that the first time, but then um the second time when he brought it up, I just kind of, let him riff and do his thing. But anyways, Jason Giorgiani doesn't do many interviews. That's a bummer. Well, I'm still gonna try. Yeah, Rachel Corpus is gonna be interesting. How is Jason Giorgiani a Satanist? How is he a Satanist? So the Matrix is a game of deliberately forgetting with the goal of remembering. Why can't we just decide to exit when the right? Exactly. Maybe we have to go into our intuition. Listen to the people. What's up, gender ender? Listen to the people that don't pedestal themselves or be a follower. Take what resonates. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Howdy McCoskey basically said this in his book. Yeah, exactly. We don't need to cancel people. And I think we should try to not be so not try to fight everybody so much. You know what I mean? There's so much like I noticed this all over. I noticed this in the world of mixed martial arts too, because we have a YouTube channel there and it's like everybody is we follow somebody, we listen to somebody. As soon as they say one thing we don't like, boom, we attack them, we jump down their throats. That guy sucks, that guy's on the inside or whatever. And it's funny, we spend so much time attacking each other, but like we're the ones that we're trying to help each other. We're the that analogy of the crabs in the bucket. We're trying to get out of the bucket and it's like the people that put us in the bucket, that's who we should be focusing on. But we're all trying to get out and try to figure out things. And then you have one misstep, and then everybody attacks that one person. It's like, you know what I mean? And I think we got to get out of that mentality of attacking each other so much. We're all going to make mistakes. There's some of us we're going to be imperfect, but I think overall, most of us who aren't like agents of the higher stuff that's going on, we're ultimately pretty much trying to do the right thing. And it may not always work out to be the right thing. We can get things wrong, but I think it's something important to keep in mind. If we can deprogram the world from just like jumping on people for little missteps. Traces of Truth said Satan isn't bad also. I've heard about this, that it's like, I don't know. I don't know too much about Satan and all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what's going on? KK Loco said, what's the definition of Satan? Oh, I have heard him talk about reptilians. I actually had it on my list, but I didn't get to it. He did say, because I remember somebody said, are the reptilians the negative entities? Like, reptilians are a race just like us. He's like, there's negative ones at the top that are controlling things or running things. But he's like, just like us, we have negative entities at the top, but it's not the whole human race is evil. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I would have liked to have talked to him more about that. Guys, run up the likes on the stream if you can. If you could click that like button, helps push the content and get it out to more people who are searching for this type of content. So I really appreciate it. If you can run up the likes, hit that like button if you haven't yet. There was a chick who was a fruitarian, very skinny. Oh, God. I haven't looked into the nutrition of it. I'm not saying anybody should do it. I've heard about it, but I've never tried it myself. I'm glad you took the time to understand Darius. Like he said, he give you guys information, gives you a better way to experience your own AOBE. Yeah. Jason's a Satanist, can be seen from his books. Huh. Well, it's like a big game of Russian roulette. Darian coming on says a lot about it. Most would not. Yeah, I think so too. That's why I was kind of surprised that they reached out. To be honest, I was nervous. I was like, wait a minute. Does he have something like there was a part of me that was a little nervous that maybe I don't know. He had something planned or this or that, but no, he came on. We had a fair discussion. Okay. Different Elohim groups in Old Testament, different leaders of these groups. Yahweh was just one of them. I think he alluded to that effect in the interview. He said something, can't remember exactly. And the interviewer asked him, but he said he'll tell him after the interview. In the end, we each will have to decide where to go. Yeah. A bit of a choose your own adventure, I think. Gender Ender says, I personally like Darius's energy. He's so zen and chill. Okay, well, there you go. Somebody likes it. Some people eat only raw animal parts and meat. True. A prey animal is not asked whether it consents to being eaten, just as a predator is not acting out of moral reflection but instinct and necessarily shaped by evolution. That shows free will is a problematic concept. Well, yes and no, but then that's also not necessarily, because if you assume that the souls enter those bodies from free will and agree to play the game as it is, then it may not necessarily be a problem. You know, it begs the question of, how does the system all work together? If you don't have free will or authority to enter into each specific organism, then it's a different situation. Or alternatively, if you argue that some of these organisms, which I'm still trying to figure out if this is true or not, or if there's any merit to this, are again this idea of an NPC. Maybe they lack that autonomy and are just pure instinct-based animals. Then it could be, for those entities, yes, we're seeing a lack of free will, or what is perceived to be a lack of free will, because perhaps they're NPCs, you know, and that could also be another explanation. Oops, what's going on with my mouse? Stop it. My mouse is doing something weird. Come on. I hate it when it glitches. Okay. He thought you were going to get Tony Sayers on him. No. Yeah. I talked to Tony actually about it. I messaged him like, dude, I'm about to go. Yeah, because me and Tony have been messaging a lot on Instagram. But yeah, actually, I don't know if he's heard the whole interview yet. Did you get a new setup? No, I'm just on the road right now. And I'm in my bed in my hotel because my back will hurt otherwise if I try and sit up in one of the hotel chairs. By the way, I'm going to put my Instagram handle in here as well. If you guys have more questions or want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on Instagram. Boom. There it is. So yeah, hit me up, follow me. I'm trying to post more content on Instagram as well, just a little more casual content, quick videos, and also let people know about videos that I'm dropping on the YouTube channel as well. Sorry, guys, my mouse thing is messed up on my laptop. It keeps going back and forth between right clicking and left clicking, and then I somehow exited. Sorry about that. Yeah, exactly. That's right, Viv. Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit. Everybody keeps on mentioning Alabar Jones. They keep saying I need to bring him on the channel. Okay, I'll figure it out next week. I gotta watch a ton of his stuff before I'm confident to reach out to him. I need to get a much better understanding of him. Okay. Grace of Truth, get an external mouse. Yeah, I know. Actually, here. I do have one, kind of. I'll plug it in. I have what's called a Wacom tablet. Hold on. And so I have a stylus. This would be better. Yeah, this is way better. Nico, yes. This is just me, or does Darius come across as? I don't know. I actually didn't feel that, and I challenged him like I asked questions that I don't think he would have normally wanted to answer about the soul trap. I thought he was all right. I thought he did fine with those. I would love to hear him speak about the 12 beings constructing this construct. I would be interested in that too. Oh, you love Alabar Jones? Yeah, a lot of people seem to be big fans of him. Damn, I thought you dined and dash on. No dining and dashing. Gaia Puppet. He does Joe. Wait. He does Joe. What does that mean? He does Joe, Gaia Puppet. I know. I'm just curious to hear you diving into his work. Oh, got you. Yeah, for sure. That's just you. What are you guys talking about? Maybe a regular show every month, Insight with Tony. Oh, I would love to have Tony back on regularly if he's down. That'd be cool. This interview was planned. Too many are seeing through it. All in it together, essentially. Don't be fooled, but admit you've been fooled. Which interview? Which interview are you talking about? What? It's doing it again, even on my stop. I think this might be an issue with StreamYard, honestly. It's going to my right click again. How do I get off of this? Hold on. Can't click on the comments. There we go. Okay. I wish Darius had spoken more about hijacking of the place. Me too. I only heard him once speaking about it, and he was referring to 12 zodiac signs. Stay clutch. Are you going to try and do another OBE? Yeah, of course. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to Monroe this summer. I've seen Darius try to realign or give you guidance on how to leave your body. Yeah, we talked about it more off air. We actually talked for almost an hour after the interview because he was uploading the content from we use a different platform instead of what I normally use. And so we had to stay online for like another 45 minutes or an hour or whatever it was, so the audio and video from his computer could upload. He won't, Viv. You're saying, oh, you're talking about Darius and the hijacking of this place. The one and only Suk should ask who he thinks Jesus was. Oh, he never mentioned him. I didn't even know that. Probably Archon or Reptilian message. I mean, we never know. Haven't watched this video with him yet, but Darius has a unique personality. Yeah. Oh, wait, you haven't watched my interview yet? Yeah, let me know what you think. Comment, and I've been trying to respond to most of the comments. One guy from his group was on an interview saying that Jesus is one of the 12 beings, and that's the reason he chooses to come into this realm. Okay, I never heard that. I have followed Darius for 2 years. He does not hide himself from others. He speaks his truth, and if you don't agree, then it just isn't for you. I believe the hijack word is better expressed as contrast. Did Darius ever chat with Isabella Green? No, that'd be very interesting. It'd be very interesting. Yeah, that would be a cool conversation. I wish. Whoa, it's doing it again. Oh my God. Hold on. Stop it. Come on. Stop. Hold on. Let me try this. Oh my God, guys. I'm literally like, my computer's going crazy right now. And I'm trying, every time I hit it, the back menu shows up, and if I accidentally click it, then I get exited out of this. Okay, let me just read the comments without clicking them. 1 second. Oh, let me do this. Okay. Let's try it again. Dude, I'm losing my mind. Hold on. Come on. There we go. There we go. Finally. I wish Darius had explained more about the beginning of all of it, more of us. Oh, traces of truth. Come on now. Come on now. Yep, I was surprised just like you. He says nothing can trap your soul, yet he says the body is a prison of the soul. If we can be in amnesia states, that has technology to keep us in that state. Yeah, it is a weird thing because like, I'm with it in the sense that, well, maybe what he would say is we're trapped right now because we've trapped ourselves, because we've agreed to the trapping of it. You know what I mean? We co-signed on it. I don't know. Darius is 4'11". I don't think he's 4'11". Well, actually, I mean, I guess I don't know, but he does not seem that like that height. We do have to consider the fact that we are on YouTube and he can't say, well, that's true too. Put the laptop on top of a flat. Oh, that could be it. He seemed very certain that he hasn't been tricked or misled. Yeah, he does. But he's very much someone who encourages us towards the light. But many others like David Icke and Isabella Green. I know. You should read the Kyle Odom PDF. Never heard of it. Goddess Love 3749. I've never heard Darius say that the body is a prison for the soul. Maybe you're right, actually. Yeah, that's more of a Gnostic. Actually, you're right. Yeah, maybe. I don't think he has ever said that. That's more of a Gnostic viewpoint. I don't know. Okay. There's elements of what Darius says that aligns with New Age, but he actually was talking negatively about the New Age movement, if you remember in the interview. So you might consider him New Age. I don't think he considers himself New Age. And I think there's obviously differences, I think, in the philosophies of the New Age and Darius. But yeah, maybe some he aligns with, I suppose, is possible. Man, there's this group that lives down the street from me. I've mentioned this before, this house called Mystic Manor. And I used to be all about it. I used to think it was so cool when I first got into NDEs, and I didn't even know what New Age was. It was just seemed to be aligning, and they're all about like spirituality and raise your vibration. It was a lot of people that seemed nice, but like I remember thinking too, I was like, this is cool. I want to explore this. They didn't drink alcohol. I just quit drinking alcohol. But then I remember thinking like some of the people are really nice there, but there are a lot of people that just seem so fake. You know what I mean? But I'm like, but this is interesting. I need to play this out. And then now, as I've kind of learned everything I've learned recently, now it all makes sense. Especially the guy who's running this place, dude. He jacked $700 from me too. He started this membership thing, and it was like $777. And it was for all these events that they were going to have every year, one a month, and different parties and stuff. And I was like, that sounds great, because I was going to their parties and it was right down the street from my house. And some of the parties I was meeting some cool people. And then right after running it for 2 months, he just shuts it down. And shuts it down without telling anybody, just stops throwing parties. Then I confront him about it. And then a year later, they charge my card again. So he doesn't deactivate the auto charge, charges again. I'm like, dude, you just charged my card where there's no events for the last 10 months and you ran again. Sorry, man, I'll refund you. I'm like, yeah, well, what about what about the money that I paid? You guys did it for 2 months and then you shut it down. He's like, well, yeah, man, just to be honest, I went through a breakup. And I'm like, you're in your 40s like me, dog. You're crying about a breakup and you're saying that that's why you didn't give me back. Like, you should have refunded me what, like 500 at least worth of that money, maybe more. And I was just like, okay. And then that was just one piece of the puzzle, right? But then there was other pieces that I saw of this guy and just the way he carries himself and stuff that just felt like so, bleh, you know what I mean? But that's my experience with a New Age group in my neighborhood. I don't go anywhere near that house anymore. It's crazy. Goddess Love. Although there, like I said, I didn't, there's always going to be some people that are there that are going to be cool that I met that were really cool. But Goddess Love, well, then you didn't see enough of the interview because, he did say that. Okay. If he did say it, then I just don't remember when or where. Darius did say the body's a prison for this. Okay. He did say it. Yeah. But then I apologize. Couldn't remember. You think he's a double agent? He is saying we came from our own will, but now we are not experiencing what we signed up for because of the darkness. I think he did say something along those lines. Sorry, guys. I'm having to jump around a little. It's just too much for me to read. And, also my voice is getting tired. Josefa, you live in LA. I think there are a few fake... Less than you'd think. Well, it kind of depends on who you hang out and surround yourself with. All the families that I work with, for example, in my business are amazing, awesome, incredible people. And I've met a lot of really sincere, genuine, authentic people too in the city. You would be surprised. The place where I take my dog people, that's a place full of good people, full of good people. You know, LA gets a bad rap. Have you ever looked into Bashar? Yeah, a little bit. I'm not so sure about this Bashar and this channeling. I don't know about it. Oh, he has healed thousands of people. A Grogero. Did I pronounce it wrong when I said it? Double agent. If he is one, give him an Oscar. Oh, talking about me or talking about Darius? He said you can't have love without a judgment, but doesn't bring that love is also justice and fairness. Fair enough. Speaking of the false matrix, Carrie spoke of the fake negative and positive matrix. Numa Ethos says Bashar is fraud. I mean, I haven't studied him enough to say one way or the other definitively, but yeah, it feels a little funny. Hey, Numa Ethos, where are you located again? I can't remember. Didn't you say near Virginia or something on the East Coast? I'm speaking about Darius. Okay, got you. You know, you're talking. Look, I'm not saying anything about positive or negative about Bashar, but listen, this is what I'm talking about with the attacking of people. They do one thing that's wrong, and then you throw everything out. I'm not saying that this is indicative of what's going on or of like the truth or false whatever what he does being good or bad, but it's also possible that somebody could have promoted it and then later come back and been like, I screwed up and I made a mistake and I can't believe I did that. You know, like we should give some grace for people to mess up. By the way, at that time, everybody was pushing this thing, and credit to the people that stood up at the time and were able to talk about it. But that took a lot of courage, and that was difficult. And there was a lot of lies being, propagated at the time. So my point is we should give some grace if people get stuff wrong, is what I think. Tony S reviewed Bashar. Oh, cool. Yeah, Tony does a lot of really good reviews. Oh, you're from Youngstown, Ohio. Never mind. Because I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm coming to Chicago tomorrow, but I'm like, do you live close to Chicago? But yeah, it's kind of far. Because you messaged me and you said if we lived in the same city, we'd be friends. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, I think it's still kind of far from Youngstown. Bashar is no bueno. Yeah. I'm a Bashar expert, want to replace humanity with a new version. Interesting. I followed Bashar for years and I couldn't anymore. What was it about Bashar that finally you were like, I can't do this anymore? Was there a specific moment that got you to say, nah, I'm done? Yeah, don't trust the guides. Yeah, I mean, it's so sad that there's just so much manipulate. It's just we're just in a field of lies, it seems, and we can't trust. Like we have to be so careful. You know what I've been thinking too is in order for our discernment to be as strong as possible, we really got to make an effort in this life to just in every moment possible to try to be doing things. Like think about this, right? I was just having this thought earlier today. We should be trying to make an effort not only to when obviously when we communicate with people to be honest and forthcoming and not try to deceive people, but then also think about this. If you're doing something, and tell me if you agree or disagree with me. This is a thought I had. If you're doing something, even in the privacy of your own home, and you know that if other people asked you, did you do this thing? You would feel uncomfortable about saying, yes, oh, I did this thing because it's embarrassing or whatever it is. I'm not talking about going to the bathroom or stuff like that, that you have to do. But you know what I'm talking about, where basically you wouldn't want to tell people that you're doing this thing, that you shouldn't be doing it because it's making you're doing something that even though you're not being asked about it, you're kind of hiding. And you know what I mean? And I wonder if that messes up your that concept of, remember I talked about in a video, phronesis, about living authentically and with integrity, and that influencing your ability to discern. So I think for those of us who are trying to get above all the deception and the nonsense, the more we just try to always live authentically and always be doing things that we are proud of and that we can talk about and that we want to talk about, and just little things, just even, hey, I'm at a stoplight and I know I'm not supposed to be touching my phone. I know I'm not putting anybody in danger. I want to grab my phone. Like if a cop came up right afterwards and said, "Did you just grab your phone?" Right? You wouldn't be confident. You wouldn't be feeling good about admitting that. So you're kind of doing something that you don't want other people to know. Does that make sense? And so maybe just refrain from doing that, because even that could potentially affect your discernment levels. This is just a theory. Let me know. Let me know if this resonates with you guys, or if you think I'm onto something. Black Capsule says 99% of channeling are negative entities. Where do you get that percentage? I mean, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just curious to know where you get that from. Bashar's overall message is positive. It could be an overall positive message. That being said, NDEs overall have a positive message. So I don't know if that in and of itself is enough to say, okay, what's being relayed here is good stuff. You know what I mean? I like that you approach everyone in a very nuanced and respectful way, and that you don't trend towards tribalism or group pressure. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I try to do that. I think we should all try for that. Yes, channeling is a no-go. I stopped. His take on the entire matter didn't sit well with me. Yes, same with the April girl. I don't know enough about April. I did reach out to her like a month ago to see if she would on Instagram, but she ghosted me. Or not even ghosted me, she just didn't respond. But I'd be willing to talk to her. I don't know how I feel about her now. I don't know. I watched that white again. I don't think that she's trying to. I don't get the vibe that she's trying to deceive people. But it's, again, she's conveying, I think, what she thinks is true. Does she have the full picture of things? Suspicious, because she's kind of dismissive the idea of the soul trap as well. I don't know. But that's why I think talking to people is important. Hearing it from themselves, having a conversation with them directly, I think gives us a lot more answers. The guy that channels Bashar has connections to Hollywood. Dudes on the dark. Ooh. Some people think channelers are picking up on a frequency, and it's like Chat GPT responding, like an AI kind of. I loved how you listened to Darius and did not get defensive. I appreciate that. I agree. We shouldn't do things we know are wrong, but it depends if the cop is there to help clear the problem, or spying on you to use anything you do against you in an already corrupt system. Okay, fair enough. Depends if the cop is there to help. Hmm. Darius talked about, if you are fearful, where you going to go to speak to, then said love is the way to go. All these concepts are part of the matrix. In totality, there is only one. No, no, no. April might come on. I mean, I messaged her on Instagram. She has like a lot of followers on Instagram. She probably didn't see it. Oh, guess what book I just bought? I just bought the George F. book. It's in my bag. Traces of Truth. As soon as I finish Hattie McCoskey's book, I'm going to finish Hattie McCoskey's book maybe on my flight tomorrow, because I got a 3-hour flight, so I should be able to finish it. And then after that, it's on to that book. Next, let's go. Esoteric schools focus on this life and master life first, trying to reach other higher worlds. Before you perfect this realm is dangerous. Developing higher organs of perception will never formed automatically while we perfect our lower perceptions. It's like a white belt in BJJ trying to roll with black belts. Will not be formed automatically. Okay. I think you're responding to what I was saying about trying to master our discernment, saying that basically what I was proposing is not enough, I think you're saying. I don't trust April. I've heard other people say this as well. April had a short about some info she got from the Galactic Federation about a second coming. Yeah, I don't know about the whole Galactic Federation thing. Again, fairness, I haven't really looked into it, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, you have a Jordoff group? Like, tell me about it. What is it? What do you guys do? Guys, hit that like button if you can. Actually, let me see how many likes we got on the stream right now. We got 25 likes. We got 110 people in here. Hit that like button. Let's run up those likes. It helps in the algorithm. I would appreciate it if you guys could take a quick second and just boop, hit like. If you actually like the stream. If you don't like it, then I don't blame you. April is nothing of value to me. I respected Bashar. April Danon would say something important, some guidelines during the pandemic, but they acted like nothing was happening. Again, though, I'm just want to say, listen to the information that people are presenting. Now, I'm not like Elizabeth April, like maybe she made a mistake back on that one event. I don't know. I haven't looked into it whatsoever. Maybe she's recanted that since. But again, it's more about, to me right now, do they seem like they're on that right path? Do they seem like they're on that correct mission and trying to spread correct information? As opposed to just saying like they did this one thing that irked me back then, and now I'm cutting them off. You know, what if David Icke has done things? David Icke has done things in the past that were a little bit off that he doesn't align with anymore. But look at all the great information and material that he's given since. And could he be wrong again? Absolutely. We have to keep our eyes and ears open. But I'm gonna make a mistake at some point. I'm gonna make a mistake at some point that people are not gonna like. And I hope you guys don't just write me off, because I will be trying my best to get to the bottom of things and to share that information as I go along. But I know I already know it's inevitable that I will mess something up that's gonna piss people off at some point along this journey. And I hope you guys give me grace for it when it happens. Hey, we got another member. I think this is a new member. You just became a member yesterday. I was looking at the member list. I'm late to the party. I miscalculated time difference. All good. Glad to have you here now. What's up, Raven? How did you find the channel? What was the video that you first saw? What does your gut feeling go with at the moment? For me, I lean towards David Icke. I mean, David Icke really resonates with me. Tony Sayers resonates with me. Hadi McCoskey resonates with me. Jason Georgiani resonates with me. Who else? Isabella Green. Yeah, those are some, to name a few. I tried Darius's method and it works. Ooh, that's cool. Congratulations, Georgia. That's so cool. I'm still trying. I didn't try last night, though. I was supposed to, but oh my God, I was so tired. So tired. Hold on one second. I'm waiting for my food, too. When my food gets here, I got to go. Because I got to eat. I'm starving. And I got to do my other podcast in an hour. And then we do my MMA show tonight. We have to be there at 5. And then I'm commentating for like 5 hours. So my voice, I got to be careful. Viv is saying Raven's going to have to recycle. It's a lot of karma. I think she's joking, of course. Gender Ender. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be prioritizing the members' messages right now because there's just a lot coming in. And it's a lot for me to get through. It's all about getting people's brains to think. A lot of people are criticizing the Disclosure Day movie. But the point is for normies to think. Oh, I haven't even seen that movie. Is there a movie, Disclosure Day? Ravens Rabbit Hole says, LOL Viv. Laughing at that recycling question. All this hitting the mainstream is good. Oh, you wanna tune into my MMA event tonight? Yeah, that'd be amazing. Okay, if you wanna tune in, it's on oh my god, blanking, hold on. It's on the tip of my tongue. League. One second. Spectation, there it is. Okay. First of all, so you can watch the prelims here. If anybody wants to watch me commentate tonight for this MMA event in Montana, so there is the Facebook link. You can watch the prelims for free on that Facebook page, and yeah, it'll be like the first 3 fights on the card. And then if you want to purchase the pay-per-view to watch the rest of the fights, hold on, let me see if I can find the Spectation Sports. Here it is. One second. Okay, here it is. So this is the link on Spectation Sports. I don't know if anybody's an MMA fan. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did I do that like 3 times? What is that? What? That messed up. Wait. One second. What is happening here? One second. Spectation. Here, let me find it. Here we go. Found it. That was like a crazy link. Let me get rid of all this. Delete. Delete. Okay, hold on. Just deleting those comments. Okay, here is the correct Spectation link. Boom. There we go. Okay, anyways, did you know that Darius is a... No, wait, which martial arts? I train Muay Thai. I'm into martial arts too. Dang it. I wish I would have asked him that. I'm super into martial arts. I never heard of this. My Dark Exploration. Never heard of that. Hey, you know what I use for binaural beats is I use the Expand app from Monroe Institute. You could check that out. You should get Howdy Mikowski. Okay, I'm trying. So I've already been in contact with him via email. He said that he is down to come on after I finish his second book. So I'm more than halfway through it. When I finish it and I make my second video on it, I'm going to reach out to him and we'll see if we can get the interview scheduled. Yeah, Howdy Mikowski interview is going to be lit. It's going to be so good. I cannot wait for that. Dude, where's my phone? What was that? I just heard a dinging noise. All right, anyways. I have a theory on why a lot of us align with MMA. There's that's a conversation for another day. Didn't you message me that on Instagram though? I feel like you messaged that. Like that we have something to do with defending ourselves. I can't remember, but yeah, I've wondered too why. Like, I'm not a violent person, obviously, at all. Like, I'm not a confrontational person. A lot of people are surprised when they find out that I love MMA. I just, man. But I can kind of deconstruct it a little bit. I grew up so skinny and so small. You know, I was always the smallest kid, and so I couldn't really defend myself even if I wanted to. Luckily, I didn't go to school where I was like bullied or anything. But yeah, but no, but like, you know, we would kind of get on each other in high school and stuff like that. And if anybody wanted to make it physical, I was literally, there's nothing I could do. So that would have been the end of it. Wouldn't have even tried. And so I always thought it was so cool that martial arts, you can learn this amazing skill set and basically become Superman to some extent. Finally started training seriously way later than I should have. It was about 7 years ago, but it's true. Like, you start learning Muay Thai and you start getting, I'm not like to the level where I would start, be a professional or anything. But I've been training for 7 years, and I've been training pretty consciously. I feel like I'm pretty good. But even where I'm at, you can, you know what I mean? It elevates you a lot. You start watching street fights and you're like, these guys they don't even know how to throw a basic punch, and all they do is throw haymakers, and it's kind of pathetic, But yeah, I don't know. So that's also part of why I just think I'm fascinated by this ability to become like superhuman in a sense, Hey, Eddie loves martial arts too. Cool. Okay, guys, I got to jump off. I've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes. I got to preserve my voice because I have to do another show after this, and then we got to do the big show. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, thank you for all the feedback about the Darius interview. Like I said, it was a crazy, hectic day. I'm so glad I got it done. I was able to get it out. And that's all I got. Thank you once again. And we'll see you in the next video. We'll do another live stream either Tuesday or hopefully Tuesday, maybe even Monday next week. And we'll catch up then. Thank you. Thank you. And make sure to click subscribe if you haven't yet. Follow along in this journey. Let's all be a team. Let's all be a community. Take it easy. Peace.